What do you think some of the attributes that are common in all sports does it take to make a great champion?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think first and foremost you need a predisposition or a natural ability to be good at whatever it is. And often you choose the sport, but in some respects the sport chooses you as well. So I think you need that natural ability, but I mean, that'll only get you so far in any endeavour in life. I think what sets the champions aside is a work ethic and an unwillingness to accept anything but the best, and to work hard at it. Patience and a perseverance. It's hard not to be deterred sometimes, but you need to overcome obstacles, and I don't think it matters who you talk to, whether it be a politician, an athlete, a businessman, or a family man or woman. There's obstacles and hurdles in life, and you need to meet those head on and assess things honestly and move forward. But I think all champions have a natural ability to be good at what they're good at. They have just a relentless work ethic and a discipline to get the job done, and a great mental outlook and a great mental capacity to deal with obstacles as well.
How many hours, and I mean, triathlons are legendary for the amount of hours, the volume of training that they do. So what does that translate into actual hours and miles?
Well, I do about 2 or 3 blocks a year where I hit those peak volumes, and that's normally a 3 to 5 week block, and I mean that can be over 40 hours. Usually on average that can be, I guess, 10 to 15 miles of swimming. Usually I back off the swimming a little bit in those peak volume phases. I mean, I can ride up to 500 miles a week and run 80 to 90 and try and back that up week after week for between 3 and 5 weeks. Obviously, you can't sustain that for 12 months of the year. I guess on average, I'd probably swim 20 kilometres a week or 12 miles a week. Ride, I think, 3 to 350 would be about right, and run 60 miles. That would be an average week. Obviously things change. You've been an endurance athlete, you have overload periods and recovery periods, and then you have periods where you go into a more race specific phase, so you'll do a little bit more intensity, a little less volume, and then you'll go into a taper phase as well, where you really try and freshen up and just spark the system, and really that's the final part of the preparation leading into a race. So there's peak periods where there's a lot of training, and throw into that 3 or 4 gym sessions a week and massage, and it's a lot of intensive hours are put in those peak periods, but it's not like that for 12 months of the year. And on average, even in a big period, but that's not the peak period, I might be riding 500 to 600 kilometres a week and running, try to hit about 100. But I think there's a misconception. You need to just do so much volume all the time. I'm a big believer, and I came from a short course background. You need to do quite a bit of speed work and race specific work, I think, is the key. It's great to build a base of strength and endurance, but really the best athletes are the ones who can sustain a high speed for the longest. So you need to do that sort of tempo work, that sustained threshold work. And I think that's the key of any good program, not the volume.
Do you ever have to confront any fears about competition that you have?
Only a fear that I won't live up to my potential. That's my greatest fear, that 10 or 15 years down the track I'll look back and think I didn't do everything I could. That's a fear, and I've always been like that. Going through high school and college, there was a fear that I wouldn't live up to my potential there as well. So I always wanted to work hard, so that was never a question. I remember when I first stepped up to do the Ironman distance, I spoke to Dave Scott, who I'm very good friends with. He lives in Boulder, and obviously he's one of the icons of our sport. He's a 6-time winner of the race in Hawaii, and I was asking his advice in terms of training and mental preparation, and he said to me, I think you're going to be one of the most talented, if not the most talented guy on the start line, and the only way you won't have a good performance there is if you don't prepare well. And I went away from that thinking it would be a shame not to do well because I didn't work hard enough. And that's my greatest fear, not to fulfill the potential I think I have.